last time since our last lesson together?
No, there is a problem with the audio. I don't heard you.
So you can't hear me very well at the moment?
Yes, at the moment, yes.
Okay. And what about now? Is that any better now?
Good. Yes.
It's good.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Just 2 seconds that I don't you.
Okay, so this was just 2 seconds ago that
Yes.
it wasn't working well, but now everything's working all right.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's wonderful. Excellent, Giovanni. Yes, so what I was asking is what's new since last time, since our last lesson together, Giovanni?
Usually I have worked.
Worked. Remember, you pronounce that word worked.
Worked.
Yes.
And I have studied the Python.
Oh, yes, Python. So how's it going? Is it going well, your study of Python?
I study a couple of time for a week.
A couple of times, because if it's more than one, it's plural. Here it's a couple, so it's two. So you would say a couple of times a week.
Couple of times a week.
That's right, yes.
And nothing. And then in the free time, I went to walk with my dogs.
Oh, wonderful! How are your dogs? Are they well?
Yes, they are well.
That's good. Excellent. So that's really good. So let me have a look. Today we have the RLS and RPS. So do you have a scenario in particular that you would like us to do?
Yes,
tell me. Yes?
Buying a train ticket.
Oh, of course, buying a train ticket in a railway station. Yes, that's very important. Okay, that's great. So actually, oh yes, how good is your French, Giovanni?
No, my French is bad.
So have you actually studied French before or not at all?
No,
not
never.
At all. Never. Oh, right. So, right, just checking what languages you're good at. So, if you're ready, we can start the simulation, Giovanni.
Yes.
So, hello, sir. Yes, it's your turn next. Where would you like to go to, please?
I would like to go to Galway.
Galway in Ireland.
Yes.
In
by
Galway.
Train from Dublin.
From Dublin. Okay. Just a little thing aside, Giovanni. Did I tell you that Ireland was the richest capital? Oh, no, the richest country in the world. I told you, didn't I?
I remember that.
You remember the joke?
Yes.
And you remember what was the reason why Ireland is the richest capital?
Exactly.
The capital is always Dublin. Ireland's capital is always Dublin. So it's always doubling. Double. Oh, wonderful. It's good that you remembered that. Okay. So is it in Galway where they have the Giant's Causeway? Do you know the place called the Giant's Causeway? Have you ever heard of that? Yes, the Giant's Causeway in Ireland. You've never heard of that? That's
perhaps the big stones.
Oh, very big stones. Oh, absolutely. So I'm just trying to see whereabouts it is. I thought it was in Galway. but apparently not. So, okay, my mistake. But just in case you're interested in the Giant's Causeway, let me just send you a link to that because it's very impressive. I mean, if I send you the images of what it looks like, it's quite unique, actually. I'm not actually sure how those stones actually became like that. I wonder, is that natural or is that man-made? Yeah, I'll send you the link, and you tell me if you think this is natural, okay, or if this is artificial. That is to say, if it was man-made. There we are. I've sent you the link now for the Giant's Causeway. So you'd never heard of this before, Giant's Causeway?
Yes. No, I don't.
Have a look. Can you see? Have you opened up the link?
Yes.
Now, can you see the stones? What they look like?
Yes.
Now,
for me, are natural.
You think it's natural?
Yes, but in which part of
Ireland? It's in County Antrim. Have you heard of County Antrim?
No.
You haven't.
Because I went to Ireland, but I didn't see it.
You didn't see that? Well, it's true that...
Belfast.
Oh, it's near Belfast. Yes, that's right. It's quite near Belfast. Actually, I think it's in a place called Bushmills. I don't know if you've ever heard of Bushmills.
No.
No. So it's let's see. Yes, it's right in the north of Ireland. Right at the north of Ireland, yes, near Belfast. You're quite right. Whereas Dublin is on the east coast, and Galway, the place you were asking me about, is on the west coast. So we have north, east, and west. And if you add, you know what you used to put in the top of a bottle of wine, what you use for the wine so that the wine doesn't come out of the wine bottle, what you put in the top of the bottle of wine. Do you know?
Yes.
What is it called?
Have you ever heard in English? I don't know. In Italian,
tappo. Yes. Sorry, can you repeat the name in Italian? What did you say?
Tappo.
Tappo. Okay, that sounds good. Okay, that's wonderful. So, now in English it's Cork. Have you ever heard of Cork? A cork?
Yes.
Yes? So, Cork is actually...
the name of a city.
Of course, that's right. So we have Cork in the south of Ireland, Galway on the west coast, Dublin on the east coast, and the Giant's Causeway, which is a unique hexagonal landscape feature, right on the north coast. So we have north, south, east, west. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah. Wow, amazing.
But so Cork means tappo.
Yes, that's right. It means tappo. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it well. I'm going to have to work on my Italian pronunciation. All I can say is buongiorno, come stai oggi? Bene, bene, molto bene, benissimo.
It's exactly good pronunciation.
Thank you. Oh, you are so complimentary, Giovanni. That's ever so nice of you. Thank you for all the compliments. Okay, so you would like to go to Galway, young man, right? And would you like to go first class or second class, please?
But second class, it's okay.
Okay, second class. Is this a single ticket you want, just a one-way trip, or is this a return trip, please?
Return trip.
Return trip.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, concerning a return trip, that makes me think of another joke. I don't know why I keep thinking of lots of jokes today. um, there was a guy who, just like you, went to a railway station to buy a ticket, a train ticket. I don't know if he was going to Galway, but when the person at the counter selling the ticket said, and so when the person said, I'd like a return ticket, please. And the person at the ticket counter said, yes, of course, very good. And where would you like your return ticket to, please? And then the passenger said, well, back here, of course. I want to return back here. That's where I want to return to. You understand the joke? The person in the ticket office was wanting what was his destination, his outward destination, and the
Yes.
passenger understood where he wanted to return to. He said, "Well, back here. I want to come back here. Of course, I want a return ticket to return back here." Oh, amazing. No, I just thought of that when I was asking about the return ticket. I thought I'd share that little joke with you. Excellent. Okay, sir. So, when exactly would you like to travel? Would you like to travel today or some other day in the future?
Tomorrow, for tomorrow. Tomorrow
Tomorrow,
morning.
right.
Yes.
Tomorrow morning. So, let's have a look. Today is Saturday, tomorrow Sunday. Now, if it's a return trip, do you know that during the weekend you can have a weekend special, and with a weekend special, it's like half price. So you're actually only paying the outward journey, and it's like the return journey is free. So it's half price
Good.
instead of it
Very
being the
good.
double price. Very good. I'm glad you like that. You appreciate that, sir. So, but of course, for it to be valid, because it's a weekend return, you need to come back during the weekend. If you wanted to come back the next day, like the Monday or Tuesday or whenever, then it would no longer be valid. So would you be coming back the same day, sir? That is tomorrow, Sunday, before the end of the day, Sunday?
Yes, Sunday, the last train on Sunday.
The last train on Sunday. Very good, sir. So at least I know which train for the return. And what about the outward journey? Which train would you like to take? Do you want to take the first train out at 4 o'clock in the morning or a little bit later
Yes.
than that?
The first, the
Really?
first.
4 o'clock in the morning? Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's very good, sir. Well, you're definitely going to make the most of your return trip then, your return ticket. So you'll be spending a maximum amount of time on Sunday then in Galway. So, for this, how would you like to pay, sir? Would you like to pay cash with a card?
Card. By
With
credit
a card.
card. Yes.
Right. Now, is that a debit card or a credit card, please, sir?
Credit card.
Credit card. Now we accept a Visa, MasterCard, American Express. Is it one of those
Yes,
credit cards?
I have a Visa.
A Visa card. Very good. Excellent, sir. So, right. So the price So from Dublin to Galway, that would be a return trip, well, with a special half price. Instead of £40 sterling, it's only £20 sterling. Is that all right, sir?
Good. Okay,
Good.
good. Yes.
Excellent. So here's the machines. I put your card into the machine. If you could just put in the code, the
Yes.
digicode, the PIN code for the card, please, sir. There you are.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. Just one moment whilst it comes out of the machine. We'll have a look at the tickets. Right, yes, it's been accepted, so everything is good. So, here is your ticket to travel with, sir, and
Okay.
here
Thanks.
is your receipt for your payment with the credit card. Are there any other questions? Anything else
Yes.
you wanted to ask, please, sir?
How
Yes.
long it takes to get Galway
Ah,
from Dublin?
how long is the journey? Yes, so
Yes.
it's a couple of hours, so
Yes.
a 2 hour journey. Is that all right, sir?
Okay. Yes. Yes.
And I don't know if you're interested in some documentation as well, so that yeah, you have the manual, which is the timetable book with all the different times of the trains and also the different stops, the different stations in between Dublin and Galway.
Yes.
Could that be interesting for you, sir? Yes?
Yes. Yes. Thanks.
Excellent. Well, it's free of charge. So here you are, sir. Anything else I can help you with?
Um, yes. Um, mm, mm, no. Okay.
No, everything's fine. Well,
Yes.
that's great, sir.
No,
Well,
no. Yes.
oh,
The
yes.
binary, the number of where the train start from
Oh,
which
you mean the platform?
the platform. Yes.
Yes, well, it's quite easy. It's the first platform, sir, platform one.
Platform one.
Uh, but make sure you go into one of the front four carriages of the train, okay? Because
Carriages.
carriages, so the railway carriages or the train carriages. A train carriage is like a compartment, you see.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
so the train is a 12 carriage train, okay? So there are 12 carriages in this train, and but it's only the first four carriages that are actually going all the way to Galway, because you see, this train, as it's quite a long distance train, and it's going from east to west, from Dublin to Galway. It's only the front of the train that's going all the way, okay, the whole journey from the east coast to the west coast. But the other parts of the train, the other carriages, will be separated from the front four carriages, and
Yes.
there will be a locomotive, an engine, train engine attached to the other carriages about halfway through the journey, and those carriages will actually go in other directions. So the middle four carriages there are going to take the tourists up to the Giant's Causeway in
Yes.
County Antrim, and the last four carriages they're going to be going down south to the city of Cork. You see. So this
Yes.
train actually goes north, south, and east. No, north, south, and west from the Dublin station in the east. So it's going in all directions from the east, so coast to coast to the west coast and north and south. So you need to be sure uh, to be in the right part of the train, that is the front 4 carriages, because if you were to go in the middle section, you would end up at the Giant's Causeway in County Antrim, and if you went in the last part, the last 4 carriages, you'd be ending up in Cork.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean, sir? Do you understand that?
I don't know if I understand very well. The train split during the trip.
During the trip, absolutely. You see, it's a long distance train.
It
Yes.
means that some carriages
Carriages.
Carriages. Go,
yes.
Go away.
Oh,
go
yes,
out.
they will go away. Some will go north, some will go south. Each time they connect another locomotive, which is the engine, of the train, with another driver who's going to drive or, take the train or part of the train to the north of Ireland.
Okay.
And then the other last 4 carriages will be taken down south to the city of Cork, and that will be another different train driver who will do that and take the train therefore to the south. So it's roughly in the middle of the journey, roughly in the center of Ireland, that there will be this split, this separation of the train. So it's best to not wait until you arrive at the place where the separation takes place, because then it's too late to change, you see. It has to be done beforehand, and preferably when you go into the train on the platform 1, it's best to go directly to the front of the train and go into one of the front 4 carriages. Do you see what I mean, sir?
Yes. So the first carriages go
the first 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
First 4, yes.
First 4, yes.
Will go to Galway.
Galway, that's right, sir. And the next 4, the middle 4, carriages 5, 6, 7, and 8 will go up north to Giant's Causeway. That's for the tourists to go and visit the tourist attraction there. And the last 4, they go down south to the city of Cork.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. Any other questions, sir?
No, I understand all, and I go to the platform 1 to wait for the train.
Mm-hmm. And just to make sure that you've understood correctly,
platform 1, yes, I understood.
Yes, but which carriages are you? Which carriage?
One of the first.
Which part?
4.
Yes. Right, one of the first 4, either 1, 2, 3, or 4. Excellent, so very good. Because otherwise, I don't want to.
If I take the 5, I can change when the train stops to the station.
Well, no? you see, no, because in fact, this separation will take place just before the train enters the station. Because because you see, we need to prepare the train for the 3 journeys that are going to happen afterwards. So we have a part of the track which is like a multiple track, where the track separates into 3 separate tracks. And the way it happens is that just before you arrive at the station, maybe 100 meters before arriving at the station, there will be 2 other locomotives. Those are the actual engines, the train engines, who will be waiting there. And then the separation will take place. And so they first of all separate the first 4, and then the first four will continue the 100 meters to go into the station on platform 1 of that station, and then the second locomotive will come and reverse and be connected to the middle four carriages, and the middle four will then be separated from the last four, and so the middle four will go forwards the 100 meters between the separation and another platform of that same station, which will be platform 2, and then the third locomotive will come, it will reverse and be connected with the last four carriages, and then we'll move forwards with those last four carriages, the 100 meters to the station, but they will go in on platform 3. So each train will arrive at the station on a different platform, and on that platform it'll be indicated on the notice boards the destination of that part of the train. So platform 1, it'll be indicated Galway. Platform 2, the middle section arriving there, it'll be indicated Giant's Causeway. And for the third platform, platform 3, the last part of the train, which will be arriving there, it'll be indicated on the notice board Cork.
Okay.
So you need to change beforehand if you want it to go elsewhere
no problem.
on the train. Not the last station, but the second from last station. If you change at the second from last station or before you arrive at the second from last station, then you are sure that you won't miss the separation or be in the wrong part of the train and end up either in Giant's Causeway or in Cork by mistake. If you see what I mean.
Okay, but if I do mistake,
no, not if I do mistake. If I make a mistake.
If I make a mistake, I take another train.
Mistake. Yes, of course. If you make a mistake, there is the possibility of taking another train back to the right station or track, which will bring you in the right direction you're going. But the danger is if there is an inspector who inspects your ticket on the train at the moment that you've gone in the wrong direction, and he sees you have a ticket to Galway and you're going, and the train is actually the other part of the train, which is going either to Giant's Causeway or Cork.
Okay.
He'll be very nice, okay, and he will just explain to you which train to take at the next station to go back to the station where there's the change. Or if he's not feeling very nice, if he's feeling a little bit nasty, if it's not a good day for him, if he's feeling nasty, a little bit nasty is the opposite of nice. Okay. Nasty means like feeling that he bad. That's right. If he's feeling bad and he wants to be very strict, he does have the possibility of giving you a fine, a penalty, a financial penalty which you have to pay, which is the supplement of the train ticket to take another train back to where you were supposed to be before, as well as maybe an extra payment. So on top of the cost of another intermediate train ticket, which will bring you back to where you were supposed to be in the first place, he could actually give you an extra fine. And the extra fine, well, that can be as much as £50 sterling, which would be much more expensive than the price of the ticket. So it wouldn't be a good idea to risk that. So to be on the safe side, either directly take one of the first four carriages when you arrive at platform one of this station, or make sure that at the latest, when you come to the station just before the station where there is the change, then you make sure that you go through the train to the part of the train you want to be in, which is the first four carriages. And sometimes as the doors are locked in between the sections, just to avoid people thinking they're still in the same part, but they end up in another part, you can still go out of the train at the second from last station before the change, you see, and just walk along the train until you arrive at one of the first four carriages and then enter the train again from the platform so that you're in the right part of the train. Do you see what I mean, sir?
Okay, yes.
You see what I mean? That some parts of the train are locked, which means that people can only stay in their section and they can't move to another section. And that's to avoid people by mistake when they want to go to the toilet. Imagine they go to the toilet and they go further than their section, you see, they go into the other section. And when they come out of the toilet, the train is already separated.
Yes.
You can imagine the situation. They can't even go back to their seat because
the
their
real
seat...
life is true.
Yeah.
In the real life, it's true. The train split really.
Oh, yes. Have you never been on a train that splits? In Italy, they don't split the trains. Wow. That is so simple then in Italy. You have a very simple system then. It's not complicated. I think the Italians are much more simple then, which is good. Yes, I think
train never split.
Oh, never split. So there's no danger of being in the wrong section, or when you go to the toilet, when you come out of the toilet, you can't go back either to the railway carriage or back to your seat or back to your luggage if you put your suitcases.
Exactly, the luggage.
The luggage goes to the destination it's supposed to go to, but you end up in a totally different destination than your luggage. And then it's difficult to recover your luggage again because you have to go all the way back to the changing station and then all the way to where you're supposed to go to, but it's with a different train. And then you don't know where your luggage is. You don't know which train, and is it still there, or has somebody taken it? Oh, if you lose it, yes. So it's very dangerous. It's very risky. Actually, just to tell you a little story, what happened to me once, because in France they do that a lot. You see, they split the trains a lot in France, and so I was going to the east of France. I was going to Mulhouse in the Haut-Rhin or Bas-Rhin, I can't remember, near Alsace, in the Alsace region, Alsace-Lorraine. And this city of Mulhouse, or Mulhouse as they pronounce it in French. When I was on my way back from my holiday there, because it was an overnight trip, it was quite a long journey, so I actually slept in one of the sleeping cars of the train. And so when I woke up, I looked out of the window and I saw the name of the station, Namur. So I thought to myself, okay, I don't know whereabouts Namur is, so I don't know, how far I am in my journey. If I'm close to Dover, because I wanted to take the ferry, not Dover, Calais, sorry. If I'm close to Calais, because I wanted to take the ferry from Calais to Dover in England. And so I put my head out of the window and saw one of the train guards or drivers or inspectors. I think it was a train inspector who was walking past, and I said to him, "Oh, could you tell me how long it will be before we arrive in Calais, please, sir?" And he answered me, "Calais? This train doesn't go to Calais." I said, "What?" But when I took this train, I saw it was written on the notice board, Calais, the direction Calais. So why have they changed the direction of the train? And the man said, "Oh, the train hasn't changed directions. It's just that one part of the train goes to Calais and another part goes to Namur." I said, "Oh, well, what do I do then? I mean, so, and this place, Namur, whereabouts is it? I mean, how far away am I from my normal, like, journey, my normal trip that I was supposed to take? How far have I deviated? Whereabouts am I? Whereabouts in France is Namur?" And then the ticket inspector said, "France? You're not in France." I said, "What? I'm not in France?" I was beginning to really be, very worried, very concerned. I was beginning to panic. I said, "Which country am I in?" I thought myself, "Where's this train gone? Where am I? I'm totally lost here." And he said, "Well, you're in Belgium, sir." I said, "What? I'm in Belgium?" "Yes, sir." I said, "Oh, no, I don't want to be in Belgium." I said, I want to be in France. I want to go to Calais. I want to take my boat to Dover." And he said, "Oh, well, you're going to have to take another ticket then, sir, from Namur to Calais." And I said, "Well, I already have a ticket to Calais." And then he told me, "But your ticket isn't valid, sir, because that ticket is a French ticket, and it's only for traveling from your station of departure, which I can see is written on your ticket, Mulhouse, and it's only valid from Mulhouse to Calais. It's not even valid from Mulhouse to Namur. So at the moment, you're actually in a irregular situation. You are actually in a situation where you should be paying a fine as well as the extra price of the ticket from Namur, this time a Belgian ticket, and going to Calais, which is a totally different train, a totally different route and trajectory, because it doesn't go back to where you separated from the main train. It just takes a totally different direction. It doesn't go back towards the west. It just goes up towards the northwest. And I said, "Well, how much does a ticket cost?" And he told me the price. And I said, "Oh, that's going to take away all my money. I won't have any money left. That's all that I have left." Just about. That's almost everything that I have left. And he said, "Well, it's up to you, sir. Either you stay here in Namur, but then if you stay here in Namur, I'm going to have to give you a fine, a penalty, because you're not supposed to have gone to Namur with a ticket that you have. So you have the choice, sir. Either you stay here and you don't take a train to Calais, and so I don't sell you a ticket for the train to Calais. But if you stay here in Namur, I'm sorry, sir, but I'm going to have to make you pay a fine, which normally you should pay anyway. But if you buy another ticket to Calais, then I know that you really wanted to go to Calais, but if you want to stay here in Namur, then that's a bit strange, because normally if you're going to Calais, why would you want to stay in Namur? So then something strange going on, and I'm just going to have to apply the rules and regulations of the railway company, which is to give you a fine, a penalty, sir. And I said, well, how much is the fine? And he said something like, 50 euros. I said, what? 50 euros? That's several times more than the price of the tickets. And I don't even have 50 euros left after my holiday. Well, sir, I think you only have one solution then. Isn't that right? I said, well, yes, I think that is right. I'm sad to say I'm going to have to buy a new ticket to go to Namur. And that's what happened. That's what I had to do. I had to buy an extra ticket just to take me from Namur to Calais.
But did you have to change the train?
No, that was a direct train, and that was not a train which was separated again. And I made sure. I said, now, is this train from Namur to Calais going to be separated again? Because I don't want to have another separation, end up in Germany, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Denmark, Poland. I don't know where. So, is this train from Namur to Calais, will it be separated? Will it be split? And he said, no, this is a much smaller train. And so there won't be a separation. So you'll be all right. And I said, whew, at last, a normal train that isn't separated, that isn't split. So you see, I had that very unpleasant experience.
Yes.
And it could have been worse, because if I'd have gone to the toilet at exactly the moment when that train split, yes, and when I came out of the toilet, the train had already split, I would have lost all my luggage. And
you lost your luggage.
I would have lost. It didn't happen because I didn't go to the toilet at that moment. I was just sleeping, in the carriage. Okay. But if I had gone to the toilet and the toilet wasn't in the same carriage, it was maybe the next one or the one after that, and that the split was exactly in between where I was before with my suitcases, my luggage, my things, and where the toilet was, one or two carriages further along. If the split was in between the two, I would have tried to go back, and I would have come to a locked door. And if I look out of the window, I wouldn't have seen any other carriages behind.
Yes.
It's as though the rest of the train had disappeared.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. But I think it happens to some people. If it can happen to me that I am in the wrong part, it can happen to people who don't know about this, because in the UK, it's like in Italy, you see. We have normal trains in the UK.
Yes. When I depart, I know. Mm-hmm. I know exactly where I arrived.
Exactly, and so there's no unpleasant surprises.
Exactly.
In the UK.
Absolutely no split.
No splitting at all. No unpleasant surprises at all. Just like in Italy. It's much more normal, you see. But but in other countries in Europe, okay, I know in Belgium they have split trains as well. So you need to be careful in Belgium. Well, of course, because that's where I ended up. So if I ended up in Belgium, I know that between France and Belgium, they split the trains. So if they split it going from France to Belgium, they can split it the other way, going in some trains from Belgium to France, if you see what I mean. So
yes, but I don't understand which is the advantage to split.
The advantage of splitting the train. Well, you see, the advantage is if a train will go principally, that means mainly, in one direction. Okay, that means most of the people traveling are going to the big city in that direction, and so for them, they would rather have just one driver, because what's expensive, of course, is paying the train drivers. You see, it's the manpower. That's what's expensive. And
Yes.
it's less expensive to pay one driver to go maybe 3/4 of the way. Okay.
Three quarters? No, I don't understand. Three
th-
quarters.
three quarters. Okay. So 1/4 is if you cut something in half and then you cut the half again, and
Yes.
a half of a half is a quarter.
Okay.
You understand that? Okay. So 2/4 is a half.
Yes.
3/4 is like a half and a half of a half extra,
Yes.
like
Okay.
75% of the whole circle. And then 4/4 is the whole complete circle, you see.
Okay.
So 3/4 of the way is like 75% of the way. Now, it's less expensive to pay one driver to drive everybody 75% of the way, and then paying two other drivers,
Okay. I understand.
one driver to do the extra 25% north, the extra 25% south, and the first driver just continues the extra 25% in the same direction to the big city.
Yes. So, for example, you drive the train from
Yes.
Dublin to Cork. Then,
Yes.
in Cork, another driver
Oh, no, no, no,
jump
no, 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 no,
to
no.
the train.
That's
No.
not it. No, 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 no. Taking the example of the train going to Galway, but splitting, let's say 3/4 of the way, um, it would cost, um, instead of paying, if the train went from um, uh, Dublin to Cork, you have another train going from Dublin to Galway, and you have a third train going from Dublin to the Giant's Causeway. So you'd have to pay three drivers, okay, the full
Yes.
distance from Dublin to each of the other
Exactly.
places. So that would be three full salaries,
Yes.
okay, three full trips. Now, if you uh, only pay one driver to do 75% of the trip, okay,
Yes.
and then there's a separation. And then you pay that same driver who's going to Galway the extra 25% for the remaining quarter of the trip, the remaining 25% of the trip. The first driver, therefore, he's paid the whole salary for the whole trip from Dublin to Galway. But that's one full salary. But for each of the other drivers, the one that's going to Giant's Causeway and is only starting the trip from 3/4 of the way towards
Yes.
Galway and then going up to Cork, and the other one, I mean, sorry, up to Giant's Causeway, and the other one going down to Cork, well, actually, it isn't a quarter of a journey, it's like half a journey distance. So um, you would pay then for half the journey, half a journey, that means a half salary to the driver that goes to Giant's Causeway, and only half the salary for the driver who's going from the split to Cork in the south. And so if you pay a half to Giant's Causeway, a half a salary to Cork, two halves make one whole. So in the end,
Yes.
you only have two full salaries to pay. That is one full salary from Dublin to Galway, a half salary from, because they only need to do 50% of the trip from the station where they split to Giant's Causeway, and another 50%, a half a trip from the place where they split down to Cork. And that way, two halves make one whole, plus the complete whole of going all the way from Dublin to Galway means it's 1 plus a half, which is 2, which is less expensive to pay than 3 salaries if you had to pay from Dublin to Galway for one, another one from Dublin
but
to
when the train split,
yes,
on the train, for the train arrive another driver.
yes, of course. You need another driver or 2 other drivers and 2 other engines, train engines, which are the locomotives. They are the ones that are pulling the train. That's the machine, you see, where the engine is. And of course, these extra locomotives and these extra drivers only start their work from the moment that the train splits. That's when they start driving the train. And so because they only have to drive a half a distance to reach the destination, because the distance from Dublin to the station where they split was already done by only one driver pulling the whole train of 12 carriages, then therefore they only have to be paid, these 2 other drivers, for half a journey, and 2 halves make one whole, plus the whole journey for the one who's been driving from Dublin to Galway. 1 plus 1 is 2, and that is 1 less salary than if you have to pay 3 salaries if each of the trains started from Dublin and the train went all the way from Dublin to Galway, second one all the way from Dublin to Giant's Causeway, and the third one all the way from Dublin to Cork. That would be 3 salaries that you'd have to pay, which would be therefore 1 extra salary compared to the 2 salaries if you have the split. Do you understand the difference? Do you see the difference? Yes. So it's purely for financial, for economic reasons, to be able to save money and spend less and have to pay less money to the train drivers, and by avoiding to pay 1 whole salary. The train company, the railway company, would rather pay 2 salaries for the whole operation rather than 3 salaries for the whole operation. And that is why they split the trains whenever they need to split the train to make it less expensive.
Yes, okay, I understand.
You understand that, right? That's great. That's wonderful, Giovanni. So I'm glad you've learned something new about train splitting.
Exactly.
Yes.
And also very important, I think.
Oh, very important, especially in France and Belgium.
I can imagine this.
Oh, yes. Especially in France and Belgium. Be careful of those 2 countries. If ever you travel by train in France or in Belgium, what you need to do is not just look at the name on the platform, because if you look very carefully, you will see underneath the destination, it'll be written, this is valid for carriages numbers, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 only, or 5, 6, 7, 8 only, or 9, 10, 11, 12 only. So you need to look if there is not a remark saying that it's only valid for certain carriages. You see? And so elsewhere, it'll be written the destination of the other places the train is going to, like Giant's Causeway and Cork, underneath. But then it'll be written once again, for Giant's Causeway, it'll be 5, 6, 7, 8, carriages numbers 5, 6, 7, 8. And for Cork, it'll be carriages 9, 10, 11, 12. You see? So it'll be actually written. But if you're not careful, you think that the top one, Galway, is the final destination for the whole train, like normally you would have in Italy and in the UK. And you think that the names underneath are not other destinations separate from Galway because of the split. You might think these are just intermediary stations if you don't know the geography very well. And you think that the train would therefore be stopping at Giant's Causeway and stopping at Cork before arriving in Galway. That's what you may think when you see the other names underneath, because sometimes you see the top name as the final destination, that's in big letters, and underneath there's smaller letters indicating all the other stations or cities or stops that the train makes. You've seen that, haven't you, on a train notice board?
Yes.
So that's why you need to be very careful, especially for international trains. Not so much for the national trains, but it can be the case. But for international trains, it happens much more often than for national trains in France and in Belgium. So that's why you have to be extra careful. But the best way to be on the safe side when you do take the train either in France or Belgium, always ask the train guard, the person on the train assistant, or the inspector, or whoever you see, either on the platform or in the train, is this whole train going to the main destination? Or is this train going to be split? And if so, which carriages will go where, so that you know where to be and where not to be.
Yes.
The good places to be and the bad
Absolutely.
places where you must not be.
Yes.
Otherwise, you'll have a bad experience like me, and it'll cost you extra money, and you wasted time as well, and you risk even missing your connection. It's a good thing I didn't miss my boat, because there was normally quite a long waiting time before the boat at Calais, so I didn't miss my boat. But if the boat was supposed to be going very quickly or very shortly after I arrived at Calais, or supposed to be arrived with the original train, I would have missed the boat. It means I would have had to wait for the next boat. And then you have the complication that my ticket was valid for the first boat and my ferry ticket wasn't valid for the second boat or the boat after that. And
boat,
B-O-A-T. So it's like a ship or a ferry. These are all the same kind of things. Boat is like a general term, but it can be very small, like a rowing boat, where you yourself are the only person in the boat and it's only big enough for one or two people, and you have oars and you're rowing, you're pulling and you're pulling the oars and you're rowing the boat. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
Rowing. Okay. Now, a boat can also be a ship, like an ocean liner, like cruise ship, okay? The very big ships. Or it can be a ferry. A ferry usually goes just from one port to another port, and that's it. And it's only those two ports. So it goes backwards, forwards, like a shuttle bus, you see?
Yes.
It's just going to and fro, and that usually is a ferry when it's the same trip all the time. So it's not a cruise liner which goes around. Yes?
It doesn't split.
Oh no, the ferry doesn't split, because if it splits, then nobody arrives at the destination, because if it splits, then it goes down instead of forwards, and then nobody will arrive at any destination. They will just go right down, and that's finished for them, So it's better that the ferry never splits, because then it's very complicated when the ferry splits, and very dangerous as well. It's life-threatening, unless you're a very good swimmer. But even if you're a very good swimmer, when a ferry goes down, it can pull you down, because of the whirlpools and the suction, you know. It's very dangerous being close to a sinking ship because you can be pulled underwater by the sinking ship. So that is obviously
Sinking.
sinking ship. So it's a ship that is sinking. Do you know the verb to sink?
Sink. No, sink.
Sink? No, I'll write it down for you. Well, you know what a sink is. In the kitchen, there's the kitchen sink. You know, it's like a wash basin, you know, where you wash your hands with a tap, you see, and the
Yes.
soap. Okay, that's a sink.
Okay.
But if it's the verb to sink, okay, instead of async, then it's the verb where something goes down under water, like a boat that's split in two, like a ferry. If you split the ferry in two, it's going to go down under water.
Okay.
And that's very dangerous, of course. And if you're swimming with, you know,
You go down.
that's right, because the water, all of the water is going down with the ferry, and it can pull you down underwater. So
Yeah.
even if you're a good swimmer, it's still very dangerous, if you see what I mean. So it's best to it's best for the ferry not to be split, not like the train.
Yes. Yes.
No split ferries. That's what's best. It's best for your health. You will be in much better health if the ferry is not split, because otherwise it's very dangerous for your health. It should carry a health warning, like a warning. Watch out. Split ferries are very bad for your health. You know, it's like there's on the package of cigarettes, it says smoking is very bad for your health. And on ferries, we could say, warning, if this ferry splits, it'll be very bad for your health. So it's better to avoid split ferries. Okay, well, that's great, Giovanni. So tell me, how did you like this lesson? Did you find it helpful, useful, interesting? Did you
Yeah.
learn some new things?
It was very useful, I think, because if I will go to France or
France.
Belgium, France
France, yes, that's right.
or Belgium, and take I will take a split train.
Yes.
Now I know that exists.
Oh, it does exist,
Because
absolutely.
I have to pay attention
Oh,
to.
if you don't pay attention, you risk paying both a fine or financial penalty as well as an extra ticket to rejoin your original route that you were supposed to be on in the first place. So not only must you either you pay attention or you pay the consequences. And that can be
Exactly.
very expensive when you have to pay for the consequences. You have to pay extra, you see.
Yes, but
So
mainly if I lose the luggages,
luggage. Oh,
luggage.
yes. Then you will pay a lot because you have to replace the luggage. Then that's extremely expensive.
Yes,
Especially if you have lots of computers and mobile phones and electronic devices in your luggage.
documents. Yes,
Documents as well, replacing the documents. Oh, that's really complicated and very expensive, yes. So that's a good lesson. That's not only an
yes,
English lesson, but it's also a practical lesson on how to
exactly.
avoid unpleasant surprises, how to
Yes,
avoid bad experiences. That's great, Giovanni.
yes. Thanks.
You're ever so welcome, Giovanni, with the greatest of pleasure. So I'm ever so glad you've enjoyed this lesson as much as I've enjoyed it.
Yes,
And so I look forward to our next lesson together next time. That'll be
yes.
great.
Next
Excellent.
Saturday.
Next Saturday. Oh, wonderful. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be wonderful. That's great.
Thanks.
So you're welcome. Have a wonderful weekend, Giovanni. I pray the
You
Lord.
too.
Thank you. May the Lord continue blessing you ever so abundantly.
You
In
too.
Jesus' name, that's my prayer for you. Amen. Okay.
Thanks. All the
You're welcome.
best.
All the best. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot, Giovanni. See you next time.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.